was able to save this guy $400 a month and knock his down payment down by $35,000, purchasing a $700,000 house. Calls me up. He explains to me that he's been told by two different lenders that the house he's buying is going to be a second home, not a primary residence. And therefore, the rate's going to be higher and the down payment's going to be more. I was like, okay, so why are they telling you this? He goes on to explain to me that he lives in the Midwest. He owns a house in the Midwest, and the house is free and clear. And he has a job out there. So his job, he works 7 or 8 days a month, 24 hours a day, and then he doesn't work at all for the rest of the month. And he spends that time on the East Coast with his fiance. I was like, okay. I was like, can you get a letter from your job that says that's what's going on? He's like, I can't get a letter. They have a internal policy where they won't write letters like that. He goes, but I'm not going to live in Illinois. In fact, I'm renting the house in Illinois to my daughter, and I just keep a room. And my primary residence is gonna be on the East Coast. I was like, okay, let's do this. Do an application, pay stubs, W-2s, everything. But I also want your bank statements, and I want 6 months bank statements, which is really not usual. So he does it, and I can see he's got good credit, good income, solid. He can definitely buy the house. He can buy it as a second home or as a primary residence. He qualifies for both. But why I wanted to see 6 months bank statements is I wanted to look and see where he's really spending money. Now I can see he's buying gas, going to restaurants, department stores. Everything's on the East Coast. It's about 80% of his transactions. This man is clearly living on the East Coast 80% of the time. With this, I start thinking to myself, so maybe we can't document it from his job, but we can actually document his actions. So I do a call with underwriting and I explain the whole situation, where he's living, this, that, and the other thing. And then I said, and they were like, yeah, you got to get the letter. We got to explain. Pretty standard stuff. I was like, look at these bank statements. And we look at the bank statements together, and they agree with me. 80% of his charges, and I'm talking the daily charges that you would do when you're moving about, are on the East Coast. I was like, don't you think we could get an exception for a guy that we can clearly see lives his life here 80% of the time? And we can see it at least for the last 6 months. And if we had to, we could probably go back another 6 months and document the same thing. We were able to get that exception for this guy. So instead of having to put 10% down, he was able to put 5% down. His interest rate dropped about 1%, and he actually saved about 1% in discount points on the loan. So he actually saved about another $6,500 because he clearly could show that he lived on the East Coast, even